Folks, it's 6:30 and we're going to start the forum. And I'm going to call it to order right now and have a moment of silence before we start. I'm in. Bet y'all thought I'd fallen asleep, didn't you? I didn't get my nap this afternoon. Okay, the floor is open. Oh, and I need to adopt the agenda. I have a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Have a motion from Commissioner Widmer. I have a second.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Alexander. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Floor is open for public comment. Nikki, what do you have to say tonight?
I just want to make it clear that now I'm sitting between two grandfathers. Oh.
Thank you. Little boy,
Oh.
big boy.
Named after his grandfather.
That was Senator Marshall. Thank you. Everybody's good.
Surprised. Yes. Yeah.
Well, I'm Ed Kramer and I live at 134 Kanawha Drive. And I just want to make an announcement. I don't know if it's out of order or not, but I have just been elected the new Democratic chair of the 36.1 precinct. And we're going to get active. And just as a little bit of fun facts, maybe some of you already know this, that there are 2,000 registered voters in this precinct, which includes Montreat, Ridgecrest, Crescent, and parts of Black Mountain. And specifically, as a resident of Montreat, we've got 525 registered voters here, of which 170 are Democrats, 140 Republicans, and the balance are unaffiliated. So I've already had Representative Alger reach out to me and Commissioner Whitesides, who represent our area specifically, and have asked me that if there are any issues that are specific to our precinct, specifically Town Mountain, that they are available and open-minded to hear what they have to say. If there's any help that they can give us in their positions as elected officials, they would be glad to do that. So that's it.
Just tell them we need money. We've asked them for that recently. Didn't get any, did we? You have anything tonight, Tom? Good.
Ed, when we met with Whitesides, Al Whitesides, we noted that Montreat's never asked for money. So keep that in mind when something comes up.
Okay, folks, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to 7 o'clock, our regular meeting. Have a motion from Commissioner Fouché. Do I have a second? Second. Have a second from Mayor Pro Tem Blake. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry.
After public comment.
After public comment. Okay, I see it now. All right, good deal. Ben,
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, residents and citizens of Montreat. I handed out a report or a proposed contract with Mattern and Craig in reference to the Texas Road Pedestrian Bridge project. In it, it is a preliminary engineering report request. And staff has handed those out to each of you, and it outlines 4 alternate scenarios for the Texas Road Pedestrian Bridge. Staff would request that each of you look at these options and report back to staff at at your earliest convenience so that we can get the ball rolling in regard to moving along with this road or this project.
okay, Ben, any questions of Ben about that? Okay, so we're not to take any action on that, just to get back with you on, and we need to do that as soon as possible. so we can
At your
keep the
earliest
ball moving.
convenience. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioner.
Maybe tonight?
Oh, no, I think that may be a little presumptuous, but thank you, Mr. Whitney.
All right,
Ben, did staff have any recommendations since they're very in tune with what's going on up there?
We, Barry Creasman, our Public Works Director, and I met with representatives of Mattern and Craig Engineering last week. And we discussed various scenarios for the bridge and the existing conditions of the bridge and what different type of proposals could be presented to the board for consideration. I would be leery to give a staff recommendation at this time before each of you have had time to look at the alternates. But thank you, Mr. Otto.
And just to be clear, the nearly $10,000 is just to look at these 4 recommendations.
Yes, sir. If you'll notice in the proposal, it was to look at the 4 alternates and be evaluated for construction, design cost, and time of construction, and the necessity of permits and other aesthetics.
I think the question came up as to why we weren't made aware of alternatives way before now. I mean, we've been looking at this for years. And are we married to this engineering firm?
No, sir. Oh, no, ma'am. Not at all. And I guess the best way to answer that question, Mrs. Fouché, was that when this originated at the 2020 engineering report that we received from this same firm, there were some money constraints that were applied to it. So I think that's where the 2020 engineering design came in at that specific, which is listed in alternate 1. And then when we sat down with the engineers, Barry and I, we looked at other alternatives based on cost and getting this project completed as well.
So that's right. And thinking back, we had budget constraints at the time that were coming directly from the city budget, only from the city budget.
Correct.
It was slightly over $100,000 at the time.
Yes, sir.
And so that alternative 1 could have been tied to that budget amount. And I understand it now that I'm refreshing my recollection.
I think you're correct.
And I'll add, that was before there was any suggestion from the Bridge Aesthetics Committee for the covered bridge.
Well, I think we talked about it, Tom, but we agreed to divorce the aesthetic side of it from the base, again, because of budget constraints.
Yes.
And there also was no federal money in play or state money in play at that time, which is our new reality.
Ben, am I understanding it correctly that we would pay them $10,000 just to get price breakdown on these alternatives?
Pricing as well as the pros and cons of the different alternatives, along with again, the pros and cons and the pricing. You're correct.
Well, if we had a cap on what we could spend to begin with, and they didn't come up with this alternative 4, does that automatically mean that was more expensive?
No, I don't think so.
Well, that's why I'm wondering why we didn't have a cheaper alternative presented to us a long time ago.
I think that was long before the discussion of what kind of bridge they're gonna come up with, the covered bridge.
You have to realize this has gone over such a long period of time. The amount we had 4 years ago is quite different from what it's going to be now in pricing.
We were all young people when this bridge controversy started.
That was great.
It's a bridge that a long jumper could jump over. That's how short it is.
Oh, I think that's one of the week's highlights. Angie, well, we received news this week that Angie has successfully completed the requirements for the course on the International Municipal Clerks Association to be a master municipal clerk, according to the International Municipal Clerks. And I want to say this, that is a very high honor, and she did it all on her own time. So Angie, congratulations, but I want to make this somewhat personal, if I may, Mayor, and every one of these commissioners, I think, would agree, and anyone that's had town business sitting out here in the audience and listening. There is no more dedicated individual than Angie Murphy to her job and her role in serving not only the staff, the commissioners, but the citizens, the residents, the visitors, and those that love Montreat. And that's Angie Murphy. And I really appreciate the time I've had the privilege of working beside her. Thank you.
That's in place of a raising.
She sees the book. She knows that too. Okay. Commissioners, you have received the administrative reports, the planning and zoning, police, public works, water, sanitation, and streets, finance, and additional planning and zoning information. Any questions on any of those reports that you've received?
I'll just comment that it's nice to see us having turned the financial calendar corner where we start getting property taxes in, and we're very much in the black right now. So good work.
Thank you, Tom. Any public comment at this time? I'll take public comment. All right, seeing nobody jumping up. Under old business, we need to go into a closed session. Do I have a motion?
I move that we go into closed session.
All right. Have a motion. Do I have a second? Have a second from Commissioner Fouché. Any discussion?
And you need more detail.
Okay. I move to enter into closed session in accordance with NCGS
Section.
143-318-116 for discussion of a personnel matter.
Do I have a second to that, Kitty?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Folks, just keep your seat. We shouldn't be too long.
Yep, bring the bird seed in.
I want to put,
Oh.
Commissioners, do I have a motion to reconvene?
So moved.
Have
Second.
a motion. You got those, Angie? Okay, motion to reconvene. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Jane,
yes, I have a motion to hire Jason Burrell as our town manager for $90,000 a year.
have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Got all kind of seconds. Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Jason, would you stand up?
Oh, come to this, Mike.
Jason.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I speak clearly into this? Hello? Okay, good. I'm very excited about this opportunity. I'm looking forward to serving the town of Montreat and doing the absolute best job, working with the staff that we have and obviously the board as well. And accomplishing a lot of different things and doing it in a very productive way and getting to know each and every one of you, getting to know the community and being a part and investing in this. So thank you, commissioners, mayor. Thank you very much, Ben. Tough shoes to fill. But I'm looking forward to working with Angie and everyone else. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jason. Welcome aboard. Okay, first item under new business is consideration of appointing Ed Kramer to the tree board. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to move that we appoint Ed Kramer to the tree board to fill an unexpired term that will expire on January 31. Was that 2029?
Five.
No, 225.
I have a second.
Second.
I have a second from Commissioner Fouché. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Item B is consideration of appointing Kathy Putnam to the Montreat Land Care Committee.
I'll move to appoint Kathy Putnam to Monterey Land Care to fill a term which will expire on June 30th, 2025.
I have a motion from Commissioner Fouché. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Otto. Any discussion and or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
Kathy Putnam is in the room. You might want to have her stand up and
Are you-
Kathy, I can see your hand, but I can't see you. Are you standing up yet, Kathy? Okay, okay. Thank you, Kathy, for doing that. We really do appreciate it. Consideration of appointment of Gene Norris to the Montreat Land Care Committee.
I move to appoint Gene Norris to the Montreat Land Care Committee to fill a term which will expire on June 30, 2025.
I have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Blake. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Commissioner Otto. Any discussion and or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Item D, consideration of reappointing Danny Sharp to the Board of Adjustment.
I move to reappoint Danny Sharp to the Board of Adjustment to fill a term of 3 years, which will expire on June 30th, 2026.
I
I
have a
second
motion.
it.
I have a second from Commissioner Widmer. Motion was by Commissioner Alexander. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Item E, consideration of reappointing Philip Arnold to the Audit Committee.
I move to reappoint Philip Arnold to the Audit Committee to fill a term of 2 years, which will expire on June 30, 2025.
Have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Blake. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second from Commissioner Otto. Any questions? Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Item F, consideration of reappointing William Bill Shy to Open Space Conservation Committee.
I'll move to, oh, go ahead. I'll move to reappoint William Bill Shy to Open Space Conservation Committee to fill a term which will expire on June 30th, 2025.
And I second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Fouché and a second by Commissioner Widmer. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Consideration of approving proposal number 58136 with Liquid Engineering Corporation. Barry?
Mayor, council. Every 5 years, we have to have both of our tanks inspected and cleaned. They'll put a diver inside of it, they'll inspect the welds, all the seams, the roof, the floor, and then they'll actually clean the sedimentation out. With this contract here, they're gonna actually do both tanks. And they're also gonna make some repairs to our levels that are on the exterior of the tank. And I'd like to have them done so that in case we were to lose power, we can still go up and tell what our levels are. Right now, we're just relying on the computer to give us our water levels. And that's what the rider is right below the bid there. And they'll do this while the tanks are in service, so we will not have any water interruption.
No chance of opening our tap and getting a little swimmer out of there, is there?
No, sir,
Yeah.
they fully disinfect the diver before he goes in. So he
The amount of
looks like he's in one of them big scuba suits. when he goes in.
Okay. The amount of the contract is $5,770.
Yes, sir. This did come in under budget quite a bit also, sir.
Okay.
I was gonna say, we've got it in the capital budget at $32,200. This is the full extent of,
This is the
The
full
contract?
extent of it this time. Yes, sir.
you are really good.
So I don't know about that, but
Well, 1 and 2.
Commissioner Blake?
Have we used these folks before?
yes, sir. We've used them over the past 15 to 20 years.
Okay,
Best
so
I
you're
can
very comfortable with the firm.
Very comfortable, this firm. They follow everything by the letter. They're really good.
Okay, folks, you heard the proposal. Can I get a motion?
I move to approve proposal number 58136 in the amount of $5,770 for water tank inspection and cleaning.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Otto and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Blake. Any further questions or discussion?
I'll just say, thank you, Barry, seriously, for saving us, $25,000? A little bit more than that, 27,000. Because you shopped it, and thank you.
Well,
At a time
thank
when
you,
we
sir.
need those funds.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Mr. Otto, I want to make sure your motion included the rider as well with the float level repairs. That would be in addition to the 57.
Okay, I can add, I did not have that on here. I need to amend that.
What's the rider amount?
That's for the float level repairs.
Right, but what's the amount?
It's based on $475 an hour.
Okay,
Barry, do you know? Guesstimate on, I would think it'd be,
I'm looking at about 3 hours per tank.
all right. So we're gonna use a little bit of that 32,000 that was budgeted. Okay. You want to amend your motion
Yeah.
then?
So I move to amend the motion to approve proposal number 58136 in the amount of $5,770 for water tank inspection and cleaning, as well as the rider amount of approximately $1,500.
Six times
Each tank,
3,000.
3,000, approximately $3,000.
I'll second the amendment.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Consideration of paving projects. Barry, you're up again.
What we have here is, we're looking at doing a paving project for this year. And we were, had discussed earlier in our budget year to use POW bill money. So I went up in an area of town and I surveyed 5 different roads and checked everything out, curbing, all the, the stormwater pictures and stuff like that. And I came up with these 5. I submitted for bids. I've received 2 bids, one from Harrison Paving and one from CNT. And CNT, obviously, they came in substantially below Harrison. I don't have a total of the overall thing right here in front of me, but I just, with the funds that we have available, which is $269,384.04. Just would like for y'all to, y'all have looked at the roads and see what y'all think about taking a pick and seeing what you'd like to have paid this year.
Yeah, I'll be glad to start the conversation off. A couple of things, and it's not to toot your horn, Barry, but what I appreciate is the fact that Barry invited, I think, all the council people to literally get out, walk the roads of Montreat and look at the needs. I mean, truly what needs we have here. I think we took in consideration how much volume roads have, such as Assembly Drive right here, which was not on the list, but again, how much traffic's on there. But we also looked at some things that have just basically been on the radar for paving for years, possibly 10 years, or certainly prior to me coming on. All that being said, I've tried to skin this as many different ways as we can and stretch every penny and get as much asphalt laid this year as we can. And anyway, I fell on the fact or to the place, and this is partly from when I started on commission. We've been talking about Oklahoma and the need there. It is not a well-traveled road, but we have talked about it as long as I've been on council. And then another thing, prior to me coming on council, one of the goals of previous councils were to try to get every road in Montreat paved. And we're real close on that. I do believe. I think maybe we have 3 or 4 sections.
Yes, sir. We have 3 dirt roads currently.
3 dirt roads.
Yes.
So that being said, is I have leaned on Barry to potentially go back and say, if we hit Oklahoma and put their paving crew on Oklahoma, covering a road that is showing a lot of alligatoring that needs to be repaid, and then go up and cover the dirt section on Oklahoma, we're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. A road that needs repaving, we're getting a dirt section covered. And even though Lookout is, I think, obviously has more, not I think, it does have more traffic, I'm hoping that because they can connect, that we can start getting a little bit of traffic going on both ways on Oklahoma and Lookout. And so again, if it fits within the POW bill money and kind of some of your goals, Barry, I think I'd like to see basically Oklahoma and get Oklahoma off our chart for a while.
Those 2 totaled are $214,513, if my math is right.
That's right. For what we have, we could do those 2. Oklahoma that's paved now, Oklahoma that's dirt, and still do Overbrook and come in under where our Powell funds are. The only thing, Barry, and you and I have talked about this in the past, I was surprised not to see Virginia on here. I think Virginia, you gave us your opinion of worst condition. I think Virginia is in worse condition, at least a section between Woodlawn and about almost up to Louisiana. It is in terrible shape.
Yes, sir. Actually, goes all the way up above Alabama. It's in bad shape. And I was talking with Miss Jane earlier. Jared has been getting a lot of complaints on water quality in town, dirty water. And I got to looking at our maps and looking at the valves, and checking valves and stuff to see where they go. And I found several dead end lines in the system. And it just so happens, each one of them dead end lines run out onto Virginia at different stages. Alabama, Tennessee, Virginia, Louisiana. And in the future, you'll see in the CIP when we present it in the next coming months is in the next future years, I'd like to tie in them dead end lines and loop it into the system. That way we can alleviate the dirty water complaints and stuff like that and provide a better quality water. So Virginia will be getting paid when we, projected to be getting paid when we do these upgrades to the water system.
So if I understand you right, you're saying that it would be foolish to pay Virginia
At
now
this point in
if you're
time,
going to tear it up later. to
yes, sir.
Put the water lines in to loop them.
Yes, sir. We're gonna do, deal with some stormwater on that road. And we're also gonna be putting in several short sections of water line to complete these loops. And I'd hate to just tear up new asphalt on that one right there for sure.
And Commissioner Whitmer, your comment was correct. That does leave some money in the Powell bill. So I'm in doing just Oklahoma, that comes under a little bit. But I think in talking, again, correct me if I misunderstood you, but it leaves a little bit of money in there. And as we get additional money next year, then we'll have a bigger lump sum to go after a Lookout or a Virginia or something. And not just, what are we normally bringing about 45,000 a year? And so that doesn't really give us a good, for no better word, seed money.
Yes, sir. I believe if we were to leave some in it, and of course, you never can tell exactly how much Powellville money we will get. I think it would be a better bang for our buck next year. We could do a larger scale project with our funding. And, carry that on for the next few years, given all the other expenses of it.
Now, right now, are we talking about doing the Oklahoma road that's dirt? Don't we want water put in there before we pay the?
That section of that water line that I was talking about last year was just an extension to the system. And I was just wanting to bring a hydrant up a little further out Oklahoma. I would actually rather not do that and do the water lines down in town where we can actually improve the water quality instead of just extending the system. And that could be done if somebody was to ever want to do something with that development.
Barry, I see your reason for wanting to wait on Virginia, but that curve that we talked about where it's one way, it's one lane. Does that have to wait until?
No, ma'am, I don't believe that section would have to wait. Us getting ready to start into the budgeting process. I can, possibly get a number and figure a linear footage on that road and maybe a price on widening it. And maybe figure that into our budget this upcoming year.
Yeah.
Is that the section over by the old Sewell House
Yeah.
on that turn?
Yeah, that's a dangerous
That's
curve
where
right there.
Road's probably about 10 foot wide and narrow, and then you're rolling over a hill. So
Yeah.
we could look at that into the budget process. For sure could.
I just like to, in support of what Kent's initial comments, if you take a look at Barry's ranking, sort of assign a 3 for the most traveled and 3 for the worst shape and 2 for the next. And you add them all up, scoring them, that which is simple. Like Oklahoma comes up with 5 versus Lookout at 4, Arkansas scoring at 3. So using your, the criteria you did in your evaluation of the roads, Oklahoma, combination of the
Is it possible that we negotiate a better price, seeing that they're going to pave one street and not be moving equipment around Montreat?
he might be really tight on this price right here. I could see our price increasing if we were possibly increasing if we were having to move equipment to the other side of town. But Bensie's just gonna, he'll be shooting one section up through there. I mean, I can approach him about it for sure and see.
Yeah.
There's no problem with that.
You're good at that.
I'll give it a try.
And what's the timing on it?
I'm hoping to do everything before the summer crowd gets in here.
That'd be great.
So we're looking at May is what I'm hoping. Maybe first part of June.
We're gonna move in May and June. I need a motion of some sort. Kent,
Mr. Mayor, I move that we instruct staff to resurface Oklahoma and address the paving of the dirt section of Oklahoma in this calendar year,
have a motion from
fiscal
Commissioner.
year.
Go ahead. Have a motion from Commissioner Otto. Do I have a second? Have a second from Commissioner Fouché. Any further discussion or questions?
I would just add that the motion state that it was C&T
Paving.
asphalt paving.
You got that, Angie? Thank you.
She's a professional. She can work that in there, can't you, Nancy? All right, a motion, have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Back to my agenda. Consideration of ordinance revision for qualifications as Bearwise Community, second reading. Mayor Pro Tem Mason Blake.
Yes, this is a motion that was passed unanimously at the last board meeting. However, there were only 3 people here. State law requires that you have to have 2/3 of all of the members of the board, including those who are absent. Because we only had 3, that's not 2/3 all members of the board. So we need a second reading of this particular ordinance. We've gone over it in detail, but essentially, as we described last month, what we've done with these new revisions is define standard solid waste containers, bear resistant solid waste containers, and bear resistant container enclosures. We haven't added any new rules. The rules remain the same. You can't put trash out except in bags, and those bags must be placed in a solid waste container, or if you want to place them out during a collection, they got to be their food container or in a solid waste container of their resistant enclosure. We also added a new provision to the bear feeding prohibition, which basically says if town staff comes and police advise you that something you're doing is unintentionally attracting bears, but it's nevertheless attracting bears, excepting bird feeding, which you'll see that bears no longer. Otherwise, it also, and I'll just point this out, we need to publicize this in our city communications. The existing rule is reiterated, and that's that owners are responsible for compliance with these ordinances. They're responsible to make sure their tenants, their guests, and their families. That's it. There is a grandfathering of provision. I did mention last time, I will this time, only to remind staff that once we pass this, which would be effective March 9th, staff will have until May 1st to notify any existing owners if their bear-proof, if their containers or their enclosures are not bear resistant, are not satisfying the town standards. If we don't notify them by May 1st, they're grandfathered in. If we do notify them by May 1st that they need to get them fixed because the house bad or whatever's wrong, then they have 60 days. That's it. And I'd like to move on second reading to approve the ordinance revisions.
Second.
Have a motion, from Mayor Pro Tem Blake, have a second from Commissioner Alexander. Any further discussion or questions?
This is simply taking what happened with you three last month and redoing it so that we're legal at 2/3,
Yeah, that's right.
but no changes since
No
then.
changes at all.
We were legal, we just weren't sufficient.
It takes two readings. Ordinance changes under North Carolina law, because ordinances are a special category of council action. For city councils, they require 2 readings unless you have 2/3 of the voting members of the council voting on it, whether or not they're there or not. So it would have taken 4 members present and voting in order to pass it on 1 reading only. So
Gotcha.
Have a motion, have a second. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Public comment. Anybody? Tom? You finally thought of something to say?
Start off with it. Tom, did you make, you can't answer, but it's like something that you'd make.
I did.
Big thank you for that. But I didn't know Ben was leaving. And I just wanna, for the community of Montreat, you've always treated us with kindness, with humor, with competence. And we're all very grateful for that. We've been blessed with a wonderful board of commissioners, staff here, and you've just added to that. We're going to miss you. And they are hard. Welcome you, Jason, but they are shoes to fill. And especially on the bridge committee, you played a role in getting a lot more money, I think, as well, with other people. So that's right. And anyway, I just wanted to express that thanks.
Thank you, Tom. Well said. Anyone else? Okay. We'll move right on then.
It should be.
Yeah. We're paying him all these big bucks. Okay. Any commissioners' communications tonight?
The Presbyterian Heritage Center has been having a series of gatherings to welcome people into the Heritage Center, and especially those who've never been before. So the last one is tomorrow night from 4 until 5, and come take a backstage tour, have some refreshments, some fellowship, and you can call the Heritage Center or write or email them or just come. Love to have you.
Thank you, Kitty. Anyone else have anything? I did. Kitty,
Yeah,
did
I
you have
do.
something?
Couple of things. Lookout Road, we addressed the parking there last year. I wanted to thank the staff. I wanted to thank police department, the college, the MRA. I think they all sort of embraced what we were trying to do and help that congestion on that road. I would hope that the community is seeing some relief there. It took a little bit of educating the college kids and sort of helping them along the way, but I think they've got on board now, and if they hadn't, they got a car towed. And so but anyway, with that, I appreciate kind of how Lookout looks now, no pun intended. And then also, I have not personally, but I've had multiple neighbors already contact me that the Bears are here now. And again, I was surprised because I thought it was a little early, but apparently we've got some Bears that have already shown up. And I saw evidence when I was walking behind the Assembly Inn today. There were about 20 bags of garbage. Sorry there. But garbage that have been pulled out. I don't know if they're old garbage, but pulled out and on that real steep bank there. So anyway, I share that not to point out the trash as much as to say, be aware that the Bears are starting to wake up. And then Ben, whether you're here or not, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate your professionalism. And I really appreciate your work for what you've done with Montreat.
Yes, terrific. Yeah.
Any other commissioners' comments? Seeing none, I didn't make any in the beginning, but two things, Chief, I wanted to thank the police department for what Ken Otto just said about the parking up on Lookout. It sure has made it a safer passage up there for fire trucks and ambulances and so forth. It really has cleaned it up, and thank you for the work y'all put in on that. And told Barry a while ago, one man with a weed eater and a leaf blower Michael does more to keep the sides of our streets clean than anybody I've ever seen. I thought it was Newton Clark blowing his leaves the other day, and I looked up there and Michael had cleaned up all of Wick. And he came down and got South Carolina the next day. And I mean, it's just as neat as a pin that all the work that he does. And I know we all see him, but you can't even toot your horn at him. He's got on his earphones, so he doesn't hear you. And he'll wave if he sees you, but he's got his head down and he's always working. And I just wanted to let Michael know how much we appreciate him. Dates to remember. Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee meeting Friday, March 17th at 2 p.m. in Town Hall. Board of Adjustment tentative Thursday, March the 23rd at 5 o'clock in Town Hall. Tree Board Tuesday, March 28th, 9:30 in Town Hall. And I assume in April we'll have meetings. First Thursday. Okay. Good deal. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes carry. We stand adjourned, and thank you very much.